This is a special presentation for the Bleav in Pro Wrestling podcast. Here's Rick Ucchino on the Bleav Podcast Network.
What is going on, everybody? Rick Ucchino here, WrestleMania NXT Stand and Deliver Press Junket here on day 2. You know my guest at this time, former North American champion, the A-Champ, the man who don't miss. Carmelo Hayes. And him. I forgot him. Damn it. I usually pride myself on nail. We'll do it again. No. If I can mispronounce Isla Dawn's name and she tell me to keep pushing forward, I can push through. I can push through that. Absolute sweetheart she is. I want to do a little get to know your NXT superstar here. Now, you were born and raised in Worcester, Mass.
Yep.
What is the best thing about growing up in Worcester, Mass?
The DCU Center, I mean, Mass is great, man, because you think it's so much history to it. But it's crazy. Until I lived in Orlando, I was like, why did I ever live in the cold with the snow? I'll never move back. Sorry, people from home probably thinking like, yeah, say something nice. Nah, I'll never.
Heel turn complete.
Heel turn. I will never move back to the cold. But it was great, man. I mean, it was just if you think about Northeast and stuff like that, I mean, the city of champions in a lot of ways. So, I mean, we've always had great teams, you know what I mean? We have the Celtics, we got the Patriots, we have the Red Sox. So, like, growing up as a sports fan, like, it's been an amazing experience to be in that, New England area.
Now, I don't know if you guys watching this know this, but you're quite the athlete yourself.
Yeah.
Obviously, you have been in the, dating back to the Indies for a long time, but growing up, you had to be a huge, sports guy, multi-sport guy. Which one was your best one growing up?
Baseball. I was really good at baseball. Because you got to remember, I'm just fast. I'm smaller, but I'm fast. I wasn't like a really, great hitter, but I'd get on base and I'd steal. You know what I mean? I was one of those type of guys. And I played good outfield. I played good infield. I was a shortstop, so I had a good arm. And then I also did amateur wrestling. So I did a lot of amateur wrestling as a young kid because I wanted to do WWE. Funny story, me and my buddies used to wrestle in the backyard, and I had to be like 8 or 9 at the time. And the head wrestling coach lived down the street from me. He saw us wrestling in the backyard and said, "Oh, you guys are going to get hurt." He said, "Come to the high school and we'll train you how to amateur wrestle for free." And he trained us how to amateur wrestle at 9 years old. So I learned how to amateur wrestle at 9 years old. So I ended up competing 9, 10, 11 in tournaments. I was like not even 80 pounds, winning trophies. So we're in Massachusetts. So we were one of like the first junior amateur wrestling, at that age in Massachusetts.
That is insane. You mean to tell me in all the years that me and my buddy beat the hell out of each other on a trampoline, somebody could have spotted us and say, hey, don't kill yourselves?
Yeah, it was crazy. We were doing all that type of stuff, too. We wanted to do the chairs. So it's like, there were little kids. And he's like, whoa, what the heck are you guys doing? It's like, come learn how to do it the right way.
Well, in all fairness, though, something like that did happen to me only later in life because when I first got into the, covering pro wrestling, I'm from the Cincinnati area. Cool. So is Jimmy Wang Yang. I interviewed him one time. Yeah, I interviewed him one time, and he calls me up and he goes, hey, so I like you, but you don't know shit about wrestling. Come to my gym, and dude trained me for free for a year.
Oh, so see, I like talking with people who know because, like, it's a different respect. Because you understand what we put our bodies through.
100%. Because the reason why I'm not wrestling on the Indies right now is I fucked up my back. No, that's why I'm hurt. So I can't do it anymore.
Which is why, man, you see the risk. Like, it is not easy. Like, so they make it, some guys like us, we make it look easy, but it is so not easy, bro.
Dude, I couldn't even get the mental aspect of it. Like, just actually getting in the ring and your footwork, and then also you got to play to the crowd. And if there's a camera involved, and don't hurt. What move comes next? Because I never got to the point where I could like call a match on the fly. I had to plan it out step by step. Selling was like the one thing I excelled at because I got a drama background. So the one time I got clothesline in practice, everybody thought I died. I'm just like, no, I'm cool. I'm good. There's a lot to it.
There's a lot to it. Shawn Michaels always talked about, like, at the circus, there's a guy that spins plates. And he says, okay, you learn the moves, boom, boom, boom. Okay, now you work the cameras, boom, boom, boom. Okay, now you're selling, boom, boom, boom. So, like, you're literally spinning all these different plates, trying to, like, that's what we do. And it's like, some people can go 2 at a time, some people can go 3, some people can have 10, the better you are, Right.
Now, I'm glad you brought up Shawn Michaels, right? Because he did his NXT Stand and Deliver press conference this week, and he kind of answered my question with an interesting comment. It's like he always knows how good of a job that he has done once talent moves on, and eventually they'll do a podcast and they'll be asked about Shawn Michaels, and they're like, if they say positive things about me, I did my job right. If they say negative things about me, well, then I screwed up somewhere along the line. I think you're close enough to graduation. Working with Shawn Michaels over the last few years, man, what has he meant to you?
I mean, he saw it in me before anybody. And it's wild because I had wrestled in front of him. I hadn't even met him at that point. We had done like a in-house type of show. And I remember the very first time I wrestled in front of him, you know, he kind of said like, yeah, this kid is something. And then it was his idea to get me in front of Hunter. And I remember he told me that story afterwards, like, I just wanted to get you in front of Hunter. Like, I just wanted him to see you. And that's when they ended up putting me in the match with Kushida for the Cruiserweight title, which ended up being my debut. So he's always believed in me from day one. And I know I can be a pain in the ass. And he respects that, I think, because, you know, he at one point was a pain in the ass. And I don't do it in a bad way, but I'm so freaking passionate, bro, about what I do and what I want to do. And I just want to do things different. And he knows that. And I'm very, very vocal about whatever it is. So, and I think that's why him and I have a close bond, because he's like, man, I can't blame you, but like, I know what I'm talking about, trust me, but I understand where you're coming from. So that's our relationship, and he's been nothing but great to me.
I didn't know they let fans into these things. I thought they got professionals to do the interviews, but like, congrats, man. That's exciting for you.
This is big. This is big for me. Yeah, this is a big moment for me.
Hey, it is. It's a big moment for me too.
Awesome. Very good. Very, very good. So, man, I am a fan of your work, in all seriousness. You have some of the more innovative offensive maneuvers that I've seen in WWE in the last few years, including the Rolling Thunder Stunner. You know, how much work goes into, because these moves are moves that we've seen before, but you get into them in such an innovative way. How much work have you put into creating this arsenal that you have here?
Well, I think that's a big part of what I do. Is I don't want to be like anyone else. And I think a lot of times you see people come in and they do the same moves. You know, in wrestling there's only so many moves, so my mindset was always, I don't want to be anyone else. No, with my moves, my entrance, anything. So, you know, some of the moves I do are quite famous. Like I do a stunner, I do an unpretty, I do an elbow drop, but I do them my way. There's no way that you can look at what I do and go, oh, he's just like Austin. Stone Cold won't roll through the ropes like that. Like, come on, you know what I mean? You know, same with like the unpretty. Like no one is doing those type of things. So for me, everything I do is put into making sure that Grayson Waller is an individual. When you see me, you don't compare me to anyone else.
Now, you came out of South Wales where, if the internet is correct, you were a history teacher at one point. How do you go from being a history teacher to jumping through ladders for a living?
New South Wales. You were close. South Wales will go on UK. New South Wales, Australia. Very similar. You know, my life is wild. Like when people find out I'm a teacher, I don't think they really believe that. You know, that's like a different side of me. But with Australian wrestling at the time, it's not a full-time job. You know, you're doing it for the love of it. You're doing it to try and get eyes on you, that type of thing. So I was a weekend warrior for a long time, but you got to pay the bills at the end of the day. And big history fan, surprisingly. So that was just something I really enjoyed doing, working with the kids and things like that. But that part of my life is behind me now, lad. And you know, now I'm jumping through ladders and all that type of stuff. So,
do you have any of like your former students that have reached out to you now that they've seen you on television?
I've had a few, all supportive too. You know, especially with like teenage kids. You know, they're wild. They say some wild things, type of thing. But they've always been super supportive and that type of thing. So it's cool having them support me on the way back there.